I have always been a lever action guy, and although I am on the side of the traditional materials, I can understand my fellow hunter and shooter friends who admire the more tactical looking lever guns also. The concept lives and will surely stay with us in the future. Today's film is about the Pedersoli 1886 Boarbuster Shadow rifle with a 19-inch match-grade barrel with a good old-fashioned 45-70 government caliber. And the topic is how far we can reach with this trusty old cartridge.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Capandball, your favorite gun channel in beautiful bright English language, and today I have a specialty in my hand. This is not a black powder gun, although you can shoot black powder cartridge on it. This is a modern hunting rifle, but it is based on the model 1886 Winchester action. That's a Pedersoli 1886x71 rifle. This is called Shadow because it's black and it has a plastic stock, synthetic stock. Sorry. Now, why I have this rifle in my hands, why it is not a black powder gun. I have this in my hand because I have been using the 45-70 for tracking wounded game for many years now, and that's a Pedersoli 1886 rifle, by the way, that I use for that. And I, of course, reeled my cartridges with smokeless powder for that purpose, because when the wounded wild boar is attacking your dog or you don't have time to play with the smoke of the black powder, so you need a clear second shot if it is necessary. Now, this is absolutely a modern hunting rifle. Why I have this in my hand is a simple reason, because I had an argument with a friend of mine who said that the 45-70 cartridge is not suitable for hunting above 80 meters. And I said that I can prove the opposite. And he said that the ballistics of the cartridge is such bad that you cannot reach up over 100 meters, which is not true, because the optimal sighting distance is more than that, especially for my hunting cartridge, by the way. That's a light bullet hunting cartridge with a 300 grain bullet. Now, let me talk a bit about the rifle I have in my hands. So this was made by Pedersoli. It's a new gun. The name of this gun is Shadow because it's black and gray. It has a synthetic stock. It's a polymer stock. It's a, let's say, a bit modular stock, because you can change the butt plate, you can elevate the cheek piece, and you can also change the horizontal position of the cheek piece, which is necessary because we have a side scope mount on this rifle. Let me talk about this side mount. So the frame is luckily drilled for the mount. Pedersoli is also selling this mount, so you don't have to manufacture your own. You just put it on and it will work. The scope I have on it is a 6-hour, let's say, an optimal quality scope. It's a variable scope, which means that it has a magnification from 4 to how much, 12, which is more than enough for hunting. It has a illuminated reticle, which is also a good point if you're hunting in low light conditions. Now, this side mount has a Picatinny rail, so I have this fast opening, fast release scope mounts on it. That's a 1-inch tube, so which means that you can easily find the mounts for that. But the rifle is capable of mounting different sights as well. So first of all, now it is equipped with a ghost ring, which is very good for hunting because it's a diopter sight, but still it allows enough light in your eyes, which is quite necessary if you're hunting in woods. The front sight is collecting the light. That's a fiber little rod that is inletted into the front sight, and of course the muzzle is threaded for accepting the suppressor. The barrel itself is also drilled, so you can mount a Picatinny rail on this as well. Pedersoli also sells that Picatinny rail, which means that you can mount a red dot on it, you can mount a rear sight on it, you can mount a long eye relief scope in it, so anything you want. So this is technically a modern rifle. So what I'm going to do today is proving my friend that we can reach out to 150 meters with this rifle without any problem, without adjusting the scope. Of course, you can shoot larger distances, but you have to adjust your sights or your scope. But when you're hunting, you cannot do that because you cannot ask the wild boar to wait a few seconds until I will set my scope, which means that you have to be able to shoot immediately, which means that we have to stay within the optimal sighting distance of the rifle. And as I worked prior to making this video for you, I already know that the optimal sighting distance, where the trajectory of the bullet will cross second time the line of sight, is 130 meters. So which means that after 130 meters we will still have a few tens of meters that we will be able to use the gun for hunting.
Let's check the theory first. Quick load offers a good overview what we can accept with our reload, so I entered my bullet, my charge, my cartridge overall length and my barrel length to the software to know the muzzle velocity I will reach. My charge is 51 grains of Victory N130 powder with a 300 grain semi-jacketed hollow point bullet. The muzzle velocity of this charge will be around 595 meters per secondum or 1951 feet per sec from a 19-inch bore. If you play a bit with your 0 point, you will find that if you zero your rifle at 130 meters, the bullet stays within or very close to the plus and minus 5 cm vital zone below and above the line of sight. This is the optimal sighting distance. That's where I also zeroed my rifle. The energy and velocity chart also gives some info about what your rifle will be capable with this load. The initial kinetic energy will be close to 3500 joules. And at 150 meters, the end of the ideal sighting distance, you will still have around 1650 joules of kinetic energy. That should be enough for any big game in Central Europe. Now let's see the trajectory in real life. My first trial will be at 80 meters. That's close to the peak of the trajectory. Distance is 80 meters, and if I was right, then we should be somewhere, let's say 5 centimeters above the aiming point. And I think that I'm right.
Well, I cannot complain. The two shots are in the same hole, and they are 5 centimeters above the point of aim, which is, let's say, a good starting point for this ballistics experiment. So this 80 meter is nothing for this rifle. Let's move on to 130. That should be the dead zero. And then to 150 meters. Let's check it. It is a good question why I'm so much fixed on lever action rifles, why there are so many good bolt action rifles and there are so many good straight pull action rifles on the market. Well, the first reason is because I grew up on Western movies, and for me the rifle was always lever action rifles. It's out of question that this is the one that I'm absolutely in love, and I will always be in love with these lever action rifles. But the second reason is, it's a practical reason, because even the straight pull action rifles, well, I'm pretty sure that they are inferior compared to the action of the lever action. Because when you hold the lever action in your shoulder, you can just open, close and fire. You don't have to move your sights. Both of your hands are holding the rifle, especially this hand, the left hand is holding the rifle securely, which means that you can follow the game and you're always on the target. Well, this is something that you cannot do even with most of the straight pull action rifles, and you cannot do this with the bolt action rifle. So which means that this is, I'm pretty sure, the fastest action from the repeating rifles, of course. So that's 130 meters, ladies and gentlemen, and the two shots are very close to each other, which means that the bore is accurate, the cartridge is good. I knew it because I have been using this cartridge for many years for hunting now. It is not a target shooting cartridge, but it has the killing power that I need for any kind of big game in Central Europe. It's in the good level. So at 130 meters, it must be point blank, and it is point blank. Let's check 150. So the way I reload my 4570 cartridges for hunting with smokeless powder, so this is not a black powder cartridge, it's a smokeless powder modern cartridge for my Pedersoli 1886x71 rifle, is completely different than what I do with my black powder reloads.
At this point you should be watching a 10-minute part about the way I reload my 4570 cartridges. Unfortunately, showing this part is not safe to my channel, as this type of content is not welcomed on this platform. So if you are interested in how I do it, please log into my Patreon page at patreon.com/capandball.
And that is how simple it is. We are ready to have some fun. The rifle has a quite short barrel, which means that it is quite comfortable to carry. It is a light gun, thanks to the plastic stock, the synthetic stock, which is also good because this is also cheaper. The butt plate has a remembering foam, which means that it is quite comfortable. The 4570, in fact, doesn't have such a large recoil that is not manageable, but this makes it much better. What else we can say about this action? Okay, so it is very smooth. So first of all, it's a brand new rifle, so it is out of box as I'm shooting it now. There was nothing fine-tuned in it, and still you can move the lever very freely. It feeds the cartridges very safely, very accurately. It has the same kind of system that the original 1886s had, so which means that the hammer has different positions. This is the release position. There is a safety position. That's let's say a half cock, where you cannot fire the gun, but you can still open and reload if you want. And of course, you have the third position, which is the cocked position. This is the point where you can fire the gun. Now, this gun is also equipped with a sliding safety. It's on the tank of the bore, which means that in the released position, so in the first position, you can entirely lock your system, which means that you... okay. No, now it is locked. Which means that you cannot open it, and you cannot cock the hammer, and cannot fire the gun, which makes it 100% safe to carry.
My scope will surely need some fine-tuning, but I was very satisfied.
And that is one mighty 150-meter group, ladies and gentlemen, because the two shots are nearly touching each other, which gives me the impression that this rifle is good. It is again to the right, but please forget that, because that is something that I can tune in very easily. But the level is good. Look at that. It's around 5 centimeters below the center of the target, so that was my dead aiming point, which means that the ballistics are as it has to be. And I'm happy about it, because I really like when theory meets the practice. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, I really hope that you enjoyed this adventure. If you like what I do, then please subscribe, like, share, comment, because that will help the channel to grow, because the engines does not help us grow. If you like what I do, then please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/capandball. That's my page with thousands of, hundreds of actually posts for you. If you wish to support us through the History of Weapons and War platform, that's also a beautiful place for gun nuts like us, with thousands of videos from educational channels. That's really, really valuable information that you find there. So ladies and gentlemen, up until next time, stay cool and keep your powder dry.